Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Triangle Strategy walkthrough. So last video there we did the Battle of House End to get the proof of Sorslay's illicit salt dealings. So let's load this up and we will continue on with the story.
That same day, word spread throughout Hyzant of Sorsley End's demise, and that of House End along with him.
Alright, let's take care of this side story first. So it says Lila reacts to the news of Sorslay's passing.
I understand Sorsley End is with the goddess now. What a pity.
He has been counted among the dead from the accident.
Keep spinning those lies and soon they shall be tied around your neck. Though in truth, I'm surprised they've not done so already.
Are you not pleased, milady? Shall I inform Minister Edor?
Be my guest. Without me, all research grinds to a halt. My mind is without equal.
But of course, Minister, I was only teasing. Would it kill you to smile for once?
Be more aware of the words from your mouth. Remember, you are not but Edor's pawn.
Forgive me. Where are my manners? Now pray, return to your precious research. See that you complete it, for you know who.
I know full well who it serves. We're all pawns in the end.
Okay. So next up here it says Serenoa's party barely has a moment to collect their breaths before a new challenge is laid out before them.
So, Lord Serenoa, what shall you do now?
Well,
I shall speak plainly. The Holy One wishes to aid House Wolford.
thank you, Your Holiness.
Your house is known throughout all Norzelia, and rightly so, given the vital land you control.
It would be quite the blow if Esfrost's aggression spelled the end of your domain.
The Hierophant tells me a seat amongst the Saintly Seven shall be yours, should you desire it.
And I would not hesitate to accept it if it meant securing peace for my people.
Then perhaps we can find common ground. The Hierophant, however, has a concern.
I would hear it.
The Roselle living in your domain. They are descendants of the sinners who dwell at the source. That is their proper place. There they offer themselves to the goddess in the hopes they may one day atone for their sins. The Hierophant longs to see them return to their rightful home.
You would have me surrender them to you.
It is not my place to make demands. I am merely to deliver unto you the word of the Hierophant. And so I have done.
Serenoa, will you surrender the Roselle to Hyzant?
I don't know.
As you are doubtless aware, Lady Frederica, the vow of Lord Simon himself binds us to protect them. Alas, our house is not what it once was.
Is that a reason to cast aside its honor? My father, as well, likely had a hand in orchestrating their protection.
Ah, my friends, I apologize that we once again meet under dire circumstances. You face a difficult choice, one I do not envy. Have you decided?
This was your plan from the beginning, wasn't it?
Plan?
We did as you asked and brought Sorslay's indiscretions to light. You knew it would not end at that.
Lest you misunderstand, allow me to illuminate your position. You are not the noble hawks you think yourselves to be. You are vultures, feeding off the scraps of Sorslay's corpse.
You've got some nerve.
I speak from experience when I say that the title of Saint is not to be worn lightly. Are you prepared?
Prepared? For what?
Doubtless you are aching to break free of your fetters, to take wing and soar. To do that, blood must be spilled. The blood of enemy, friend, and self alike. Your freedom lies at the end of a trail of dead. If you are not prepared to make that journey, to endure that sacrifice, then cast aside your pretensions and grovel.
Grovel or bleed? Poor options, both.
In his time, Lord Simon protected the Roselle who fled Hyzant, and the village they established within the Wolffort domain. 30 years have passed since then. The Hierophant uses the illegal salt trade incident as leverage to demand those Roselle be sent to the source, where Hyzantian faith dictates they must reside. To secure the Hierophant's goodwill and the subsequent protection of House Wolffort, Serenoa has no other choice but to acquiesce. Thus, with House End ruined and a vacant position among the Saintly Seven to be filled, rumors of House Wolffort's ascendancy start sounding more credible than ever to the people of Hyzant.
Lord Serenoa, I believe it may be in our best interests to turn over the Roselle after all.
But they fought so hard to escape Hyzant. They would never agree to return.
It would be a show of good faith to the Saintly Seven and secure House Wolffort's safety. If the situation calls for force, well, we must be prepared, to borrow Minister Exham's words.
I see. Give me time to think over the matter. Where is Frederica?
Oh, she left for the Source with Prince Roland. She said she wanted to see where the Roselle lived for herself.
Ah, indeed. Byzantine law requires all Roselle to make their home at the Source.
She is most troubled over this, Lord Serenoa. Please, if you could...
I understand. I will make for the Source at once.
Okay, we've got some side stories to get through here. So first one here is at Whiteholm Castle. It says, from the throne room of Whiteholm Castle, Gustav begins the next stage of his plan.
Thalus, thank you for making the necessary arrangements.
No need to thank me. I am your Prime Minister, after all. I have made sure those with any power in Glenbrook understand their place. They will do as we command.
Then everything is in place. It is time.
Is there nothing I might do to aid you, brother?
If there were, I would tell you. And the Consortium, Thalos?
Oh, I expect we shan't have any trouble from them. I have promised them a considerable sum to stay out of our way.
Good. Now it is just a waiting game. I wonder how long the Hyzantians will last.
Okay, next side story here is happening in the Crown City. It says a dancer approaches a certain man in Glenbrook with an intriguing offer.
Silvio Tellior, I presume?
Who might you be?
Someone who brings good tidings. An offer you may wish to consider.
I am ruined. Who would want to offer me anything?
It is Minister Idor's wish. Will you hear me out?
One of the Saintly Seven? Then you are Hyzantian.
My master is eager for your assistance, as you are quite close to House Wolfort.
Alright, next up here is our exploration phase happening in Central Hyzant. It says Frederica makes her way to the source to see her fellow Roselle, but...
Please, I'd only like to glimpse the goddess's sacred grounds for myself. It won't take but a moment.
That may be, but outsiders are not permitted into the source for such frivolities. And you are Rosellan. You ought to understand the teachings better than anyone.
Frederica.
Serenoa, forgive my impulsive behavior.
There's nothing to forgive. I too wish to learn more of the Roselle in Hyzant. Not knowing would make my decision easier, but still I feel I must.
Serenoa? From House Wolfort?
The very same. Lord Serenoa Wolfort. The one who will assume control of the salt trade in short order, as House End once did. To that end, we are here today for a preliminary inspection of the grounds.
So the rumors were true.
Well, are you refusing the newest addition to the Saintly Seven entry into the source?
Of course not. Please, right this way.
All right, you Rosellan wretches, time for worship. Minister Idor of the Saintly Seven himself will be giving the sermon today. You should be thankful. Heed his word, and your sins shall be cleansed.
Roselle, do you know why you are imprisoned at the source, condemned to toil? It is because your ancestors committed the most heinous of sins. Long long ago. They schemed to seize control of the salt that the goddess bequeathed to the people of Norzelia. They seized the source for themselves, wresting every last grain of salt from other peoples, desperate for the resource. Using the salt they hoarded as a shield, they terrorized the land, destroying any who stood against them in their thirst for domination. Fanned by their greed, the flames of war long ravaged our land. Countless innocents lost their lives. What a terrible, arrogant people! Their cursed souls dwell within you, their progeny, to this very day. Indeed, the proof is in the very color of your hair. The same red as the blood that flowed from their countless victims.
Our people sinned against the goddess. We are a detestable blight upon Norzelia.
Oh, goddess of salt, please, forgive us our sins. Forgive us.
Do not despair, for the goddess of salt is ever merciful and kind. She grants even the worst of sinners, even you, a chance to atone. That atonement will only come through hard work here at the source. By quenching this earth with your sweat, by giving your lives to this labor, your cursed souls will be cleansed and welcomed back to the goddess's side. Only then, when your sins have been washed away, can you hope to be reborn into a pure body and once again walk upon Norzelia. People of the Roselle, surrender your lives to the source and give your thanks to the great goddess.
O goddess of salt, for you I give myself, stained with sin as I am, to the source. Thank you for granting us the chance to atone.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is enough. Now take that gratitude and turn it toward your work.
I cannot believe what I'm seeing.
This is atonement? And the Roselle accept it as a fitting punishment? Even if that story Idor told is true, no sin warrants this kind of cruel retribution. Hyzant maintains control over Salt now. Are they then not guilty of the same crime?
You are right. But this is as the goddess of salt commands, is it not?
Okay, let's see here. Time to see for myself what goes on at the source. We've already done this exploration phase quite a few times, so I'm not going to really bother with much of it. Let's talk to let's do the conviction choices and just move on. The Tainted Roselle are fated to live out their days working in the source in the hope that they may one day atone for their sins. They are nothing like the rest of us. By the very nature of their birth, they are impure and lack integrity. Nothing like the rest of us. But that's not true. They're, in basically every single way, they're like the rest of you. They just have red hair. But anyways, alright. So the nature of one's birth does not enter into it. We are all born the same. And you have the purity they lack. I see before me a man like any other. Wow, that's insulting. I like that one. Salt has brought prosperity to the holy state, but why rely solely on the Roselle when everyone could aid in the harvest? That's pretty solid, too. I'm just going to insult him, though, instead. I just see a dude. You wouldn't even need to ask if you are one of us, but as you are not, I'll spell it out for you. Minister Idor himself ordered me to watch over the source. That alone makes me a man of integrity. No, it doesn't. I have the armor to prove it, as you can plainly see, and I'll be damned if I let Tainted Rosellan blood mar its pristine surface. guy is wild. Yet for all that polished armor, I'd wager the Roselle's cracked, salt-crusted hands are cleaner than yours. Yeah. Alright, Frederica's up next. They force young and old alike to toil in deplorable conditions and have the audacity to call it atonement. They don't even tend to those who collapse from exhaustion. They treat my people worse than criminals. It breaks my heart to behold such cruelty. I can scarcely imagine what it must be like to suffer through this. I'd love to see them free, but they are under constant watch. It would be nigh impossible, or I understand how you feel, but we mustn't look away. We have to use this opportunity to learn all we can. If they do not think the Roselle human, that is the only way a nation arrives at such cruelty. Yeah, I mean, yup, that's the case. You know, the one guy says even they're nothing like us. Alright, yes, this is the grisly secret beneath their claims that all are equal before the goddess, yeah. The lie upon which the holy state is built. And it is a powerful state at that. Much as I agree, we cannot oppose them so easily. Alright, that's it for exploration. Let's move on. We should return to the encampment.
This is more awful than I imagined.
Will you still send any Roselle in the Wolfort domain here? Force them into a life like this?
It isn't right. It isn't just. I don't care that it would ensure our own safety.
Indeed. It would be unforgivable. What is just is constantly in flux depending on the circumstances. That said, protecting people is always the right thing to do. Wouldn't you agree, Serenoa?
I feel the same as you both, but...
My apologies. I didn't mean to place all the blame on you. Still, we continue stumbling on the path before us.
Serenoa and his retinue return to their domain, their every step weighed down by the heavy task Hyzant has placed upon them. Elsewhere, the newly restored kingdom of Glenbrook begins to take action under Queen Cordelia's leadership. The kingdom issues a joint proclamation with Esfrost against Hyzant, halting all trade and severing diplomatic ties with the Holy State.
Alright, so it looks like we've got our vote phase coming up. So as unrest spreads across Norzelia, Serenoa must decide the future of the Rosellan villagers. Buckle your seatbelts, this is gonna get gross.
Esfrost and Glenbrook signed an agreement denouncing Hyzant.
Word only just arrived, and it is no mere rumor. They've issued a formal proclamation.
Preposterous! Gustadolf must have forced Cordelia's hand. This is sure to make Hyzant cease salt shipments to the Consortium. All this denouncement will do is hamstring Esfrost and Glenbrook both.
My brother... Gustadolf does not fight battles he cannot win. I'm certain this is part of some greater ploy.
I feel all of Norzelia stands on the precipice, but of what I cannot say.
Each nation is making its move. We too must take action to secure our position before it's too late.
By which you mean expelling the Roselle?
To protect the Wolfort domain and its people. No one would dare hold such actions against you. Lord Serenoa, you must make a decision.
I saw what it is truly like at the source. The Rosellan are forced into back-breaking labor. No decent man would condemn another to such a fate.
But if we refuse the Hierophant, we will face the same dire consequences as House End. Should that happen, the Roselle would still be lost, would they not?
Then you think it is right to sacrifice the Roselle to save Wolfort?
No one is saying it is right, but a decision must be made. We must prioritize our own survival. That much should be clear. And survive we shall, if we can secure Hyzant's aid. Unless you know of another way?
Serenoa, I beseech you, not as one with Roselle blood in her veins, but as a person, as a Wolfort. You cannot give up the Roselle to Hyzant.
I appreciate each of your arguments, but we cannot debate this forever. It is time to decide. Once more to the scales of conviction.
Alright, so we need Hyzant's support if we are to reclaim Glenbrook. But it comes at a price, one the Roselle under our protection must pay. Once again, unfortunately, I'm going with the deliver the Roselle to Hyzant. I absolutely hate this route, and yeah, I mean, literally everything about it, but in order to get, you know, all of the different routes done, it has to be done. The very first pass through the game, this is the route that I went with, and then I went with Protect the Roselle. This really has mostly an effect on Chapter 15, and if you want to get the bandits. Again, I've actually already recruited. Travis was, again, the first pass through the game, and then I went with Trish for, you know, round 2. And so, you know, to recruit Travis, you have to deliver the Roselle to Hyzant. And then in Chapter 15, you you do the vote to check on the Roselle, and that's how you get Travis. To get Trish, it's, you know, deliver the Roselle. I'm sorry. Trish is defend the Roselle, and then in Chapter 15, go check on the Roselle. So very similar, except the difference between the Travis and Trish recruitment is this choice here. But in order to you know, get through all of the different routes, I am gonna go with deliver the Roselle again, and then there's a sub choice, I believe, here coming up, and we'll take the opposite route of the first pass through the game that I did. And I actually also kind of think that this route, which is to, you know, deliver the Roselle, lines up better, I would say, with Roland's route, which Roland's Chapter 15 route, and I am going with the, you know, like the Roland ending, which is kind of funny though, because right here Roland actually is one of the characters that wants to defend the Roselle, so that's a little funny, I guess. But all right, let's start this out here with Benedict. Deliver the Roselle. No, I'm sorry. We need to start with Roland.
Say.
Yeah. Alright, so I witnessed Hyzant's treatment of the Roselle with my own eyes. They fled here in search of protection, and there is no way I could subject them to that cruelty yet again. Except he does, and later on in his ending, that's exactly what happens. Alright, so we must surrender the Roselle to gain Hyzant's protection. There must be another way, Serenoa. We need only find it. Don't you feel the same? House N defied the Hierophant, and we all know what befell Minister Sorsley. As Lord of House Wolford, I refuse to tread the same path. It's a little cowardly. As Frost has made its position clear by severing its ties with Hyzant, right now we need the Holy State support.
Certainly.
I think both of those options are actually lame. You're right, we may not understand his true intentions yet, but this is Gustadolf we're up against. He would not pick a losing battle. As we are now, our options are few, and fewer still without the Holy State's protection. I know this is a difficult decision we face, Serenoa. Please know that I do not wish to lay the blame upon you. Alright, deep in thought. Next up is Frederica. Jesus, this conversation, man. Can you even imagine having this conversation with her?
I
saw the way Hyzant treated my people at the source, Serenoa. It breaks my heart just thinking about it. There's no question in my mind what we should do. I absolutely refuse to hand the Roselle over to those monsters. But we must surrender the Roselle to gain Hyzan's protection. How could you say such a thing, Serenoa? I must know why. Alright, so we must obey the Hierophant for now. Once we have gained enough influence in the Holy State, we can change the Roselle's fate. Or you saw what the Holy One did to House End. We cannot allow our house to tread the same path he did. Or disobeying the Hierophant is no small matter. As a fellow Rosellan, is there no way for you to convince them to come quietly, oh good lord? That sounds like the absolute worst thing that you could say to her. Oh, no, have her convince the Roselle, right? After she's just said she refuses. I'm going to go with the top option here, which is we must obey the Hierophant for now. Once we've gained enough influence in the Holy State, we can change the Roselle's fate. I mean to say that gaining the Holy One's trust is our first priority, but the Goddess's teachings are absolute. Do you think any amount of worldly power would be enough to challenge her words? Even if we could change things, it would take time, and until then the Roselle would be forced to endure an unspeakable fate. I would know one more thing, Serenoa. Just what do we stand to gain by earning Hyzant's trust? The power to reign in the duchy. With Hyzant at our side, Gustadolf wouldn't dare attack us. Or the safety, and that's going to be, right, that's going to look cowardly, right, to hand over the Roselle, to kind of protect ourselves. The safety of our domain. With Hyzant at our backs, we wouldn't need to worry about funds or provisions. That feels gross too. Sell out for, monetary gain, kind of. Or the vacant seat of the Saintly Seven. As the Minister of Salt, there's a greater chance of improving the Roselle's treatment. I mean, this goes, really well with the first option that we chose. I'm going to go with that. Do you really think the Holy State would grant such a title to an unbeliever? To tell the truth, such rumors have already reached my ears. It would take some time, but I could gain the trust of the Holy One and the Saints little by little until I have the power to help the Roselle. Indeed, the Minister of Salt would have the rights to do so, and in order to reach that position, we would have to bend the knee now.
I need a moment
to be honest, I'm afraid to choose, but choose we must. Alright, well that was the best route to go. Frederica's been moved by your words, so... Quite the silver tongue. Alright, next up is Eredor.
Aye, lad.
Lord, everything we've done until now has been for the people, and the Roselle are our people too. There's no way we can just hand them over to Hyzant. Yeah, you can't be serious, like... Could you really do something like that? This was a request directly from the Hierophant. If we want Hyzant's support, we have no choice but to obey. Or if we refuse, Hyzant will merely take them back by force. Or there's something strange about the Holy State's fixation on the Roselle. I think it wise for us to tread carefully on the matter. I mean, I don't know, that seems okay.
Are you joking?
But that fixation's exactly why we can't hand them over. Hyzant's absolutely obsessed with their imprisonment. There's got to be a reason why. Which is all the more reason for us to protect him, just like Lord Simon's done in the past 30 years. This whole situation's got me so mad I can't see straight. I'll ask you one more time, lad. Do you really think we should hand over the Roselle? Hyzant won't give up on the Roselle, even if we protect them now. They will keep asking us at every opportunity. Or if we are too fixated on the Roselle, we risk exposing the rest of Wolfort to danger. Or I still wish to take back Glenbrook from Azfrost. If they appoint me to Saint, I will have the power to oppose the Archduke. I mean, appealing to Eredor's love of Glenbrook may be an okay way to go. So you think we should make this small sacrifice for the greater good, then? I won't make excuses. I want to convince the Roselle to help us for the sake of our collective futures. I see. If you're so sure, then there's nothing more I can say. There is only one path for House Wolfort to take. Wow, indifferent to your plea. Yeah, so Eredor did not like that line of thought at all. I'm sorry, Hued is up next. The Roselle are people of the Wolfort domain, but if we defy the Hierophant, we'll face the same fate as House End. I'm at a loss. Alright, so we must surrender them. Lord Serenoa, so you think we should hand over the Roselle? We need Hyzant's support if we are to reclaim Glenbrook, or it is likely that the Duchy is prepared for war. If their declaration is any indication, it is dangerous for us to stand alone now. Or Roland needs a nation at his back. We cannot risk making an enemy of Hyzant. I mean, I don't know, that seems
Good
okay.
point.
Indeed, with Azfrost occupying the capital, there is no one left to help us aside from Hyzant. We need their support if we are to reclaim Glenbrook and see His Highness to the throne. If we disobey, we risk upsetting our only ally and losing our chance to set the situation right. I suppose it might indeed be best for us to quietly bow our heads and obey. Alright, so she's deep in thought. Let's do this vote and continue on.
It is time to cast our votes. We face a difficult decision. Do we surrender the Roselle living in our domain to Hyzant, or do we defy their orders? Approach the scales of conviction with your token at the ready.
I believe in you.
But the road ahead won't be an easy one, but I believe in you, my friend. Alright, well, we convince Roland then.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I've thought long and hard on this, Serenoa, and I choose to put my faith in you. There you go, convinced Frederica.
I have faith in you.
There is no other way forward for us. That looks like a vote in our favor as well.
Just can't see it your way.
Apologies, lad, but my mind's made up. Yeah, so there, Eredor did not decide with us.
The scales of conviction will illuminate the path we've chosen.
Too bad, Eredor. You lose.
The way forward is decided. We require Hyzant's protection. Painful as it is, we must surrender the Roselle to Hyzant. We will relinquish the Roselle and the Wolfort domain to Hyzant. So it is decided. We must act to secure Hyzant's aid, whatever the cost. Let us begin the arrangements at once.
Alright, that is going to be it for this one as always. Hope the guide was helpful, and thanks for watching.